Hi everybody, so I decided to do another video from Max. I'm using my Topaz stencils. You can find these at topaz.com. I actually have the link because there was a little bit of variance on that website. My Lowell Cornell, my Alea brush, and then I've got a brush here from Too Meany. It's a 1/2 inch impact brush. So I'm going to use my Fusion Body Art paints. I'm also going to be using a Craze Split Cake on the orange and the red. And if you haven't guessed what I'm going to do yet, I'm actually going to be creating an eagle. This was from the Stars and Stripe class at Max. So we're going to start right here, little off center. For me, I always start with the beak placement first. It is just the way I do. So I started with like a U, came down to a point, and I pulled the beak over, and now I'm just going to go ahead and put the eye placement in there. Now, when you're doing the beak, you want to make sure that you bring it all the way over because an eagle's beak doesn't stop sharply. It actually pulls over to the side. And then, because this is going to be a stars and stripes, I'm going to take that Lowell Cornell and start outlining where I want the hair to actually be. And this is for the blue. So you can see right here, I'm just kind of filling that in and creating where I want that blue to be. And I will add a little bit more paint as we're going in here. But again, just to give you an idea, I'm putting placement of where I want everything. I'm going to come back with a red, and I'm going to go ahead and create some red stripes. This is basically, if you're looking at stars and stripes, you want to have the red, white, and blue. And of course, the eagle in itself is going to be white, so we've got to put a little pop of red in there. So I'm just bringing down the lines. You can do it this way. You can change the lines the way you want, either way. But now we're just going to go back in here and we're going to create where we actually want that white. And that's going to be the body of the eagle in itself. So as you can see right here, I'm going to wrap it around, right around that eye. And I'm just going to kind of fill that in. Now, this would be a whole lot easier if you did it with a filbert brush. And right here, I just grabbed that 1/2 inch angle, but it would be a lot easier if you just did it with a filbert brush, but you can see right here I'm just really quickly filling that in. So after you get your placement in for the white, you're actually going to go ahead and probably start with your outlining, but because I'm not exactly liking the way that blue is looking, I want to darken that up. I'm going to bring that in, and you're going to see I'm going to pull it right down into the white so it blends. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the outlining and basically just come right in here and start outlining the beak. And you can see as I'm coming down to the point, I'm outlining the base, and then I'm going to draw that line and squiggle it just a bit and give it that little C with that little nostril right there. Now I'm coming back up around and I'm going to make a more pronounced eye. So I'm going to go thick to thin and then just kind of come around here to a point, and then I'm going to outline that eye right there. So that is how I start my eagle. I put a little bit of definition into the feathers, so a little point right there at the top, and then you're just going to start pulling in what appears to be your feather lines. Now right up underneath the neck, you do have this little bunch of hairs. I don't know, or feathers rather. I don't know exactly what you call it, but I go ahead and kind of draw that in, and then I'm going to darken it up right there in the eye because I'm going to use a little bit of a smudge technique, and I'm going to shadow that in. Now, if you're doing this eagle in a hurry, you could definitely just kind of stop there with the outlining. That would be fine. I've decided to put a little bit more red right in here. See, that's the beauty of your eagle. You can change your lines however you like once you go back in, or you can leave it alone. For me, I'm just going to pull those reds a little bit more. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the pupil, and that is going to be a huge and big pupil. You want that pupil to be really strong, and I'm coming back in. And I'm going to make the top of that curvature even a little bit more strong. And we're going to, or me, I'm going to lighten up the inside of that eye color. It's a little bit too orange for me. So I want it a little bit more yellow. So I'm just adding a little bit of color right in there. With that same fusion yellow, I'm going to go ahead and put some highlights into the eagle, basically right there in the beak. So I'm just wiping a little bit of it off. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to add a little bit of highlight to the beak. I think that'll help make it stand out just a bit. Now we're going to be using the topaz stencils, and I've got a sponge right here. We're going to go ahead and put in some blue stars. I'm using the larger. And then we're going to also be adding red. I've kind of skipped over that. I think most of you know how to stencil. But then we're going to be adding white to the top. Now this is the beauty of this stencil. I love it because Carrie actually made this for me, and you've got the curvature where it fits right up there at the top of the eagle. And if you're doing any kind of eye design, this makes it great because you have a top and a bottom. So this would work with any eye. I'm going to go back and I'm going to add just a few more feather lines. And again, you can totally skip this step. That eagle looked fine just the way it was, but I'm just going to go ahead and add a few more lines for those feathers. So now that we have the base of the design down, I'm going to go ahead and go in with a little bit of a blending brush. This is just an off-brand makeup brush. I think it's an Estee Lauder brush that I had when I stopped doing traditional makeup. I turned a lot of these into face painting brushes, but I'm going to go in here and just create a little bit of shadow work. I think when you put shadow into any design, it just helps bring some depth and some definition. So I'm just doing that on this eagle. You don't have to do this as well. Again, once you do that design, most people are going to be wowed by the design itself, and this added step isn't really necessary unless you want to go that far. Now, I am just going back where I want those lines to be a little sharp. I'm just going to go back in and create them. So next I'm going to be using a topaz stencil, and I'm going to be creating basically the fireworks that's coming out. And I'll be honest with you, I normally use my airbrush with this stencil just because I'm a terrible sponger. I think I even said that when I was in class. I'm not the best sponger. I usually sometimes don't put enough, so you can see that that came out very light. But I will just go back in and just kind of redefine the lines. Right there, a little bit of sprinkles. You can use any type of glitter. Right here is Gleam Glitter. This came from Vivid Glitter, and it is specifically a red, white, and blue glitter that you can use. And I normally wrap that right into the eagle and right around the eyes. That way it's kind of cupping the eyes, and I don't know, I just like it. It's cute this way. So now that you have the base of the design down, you want to make sure that you add the pop of white into those pupils, because that to me just makes the eye. I always use the 2-dot method. Some people use 1, but I like 2. I just think it makes it look better. So you see how that eye pops right now? Now, because my stenciling work isn't the best, I'm going to go ahead and take that same white and I'm going to pull out where I can see the outline so that you can see it better, and just show you that the fireworks are kind of popping out right over those stars, like the 4th of July or any kind of patriotic holiday. You can also outline the stars if you want, but I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, thanks for watching.